Welcome to the 23rd episode of the Three Sportsmen Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Kurt.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Trey.
And in this week's episode, we are going to be doing another 3-minute takeaways for week 2 of the 2020 NFL season. Talking about some of the big injuries from this week. One of Sam's probably most unpopular opinions.
Facts.
Playing pick a player and talking about the Chicago White Sox. But before we get started, we'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, check out the other episodes of our podcast, and follow us on social media on Twitter.
At Podcast T3S.
And on Instagram.
At T3S Podcast.
We really appreciate any support. So let's get this episode started with 3-minute takeaways. Because there are 3 of us, the 3 sportsmen. We each get 1 minute to talk about our takeaways from week 2 of the 2020 NFL season. This week, Trey's going to start, then it'll be Sam, and I'll finish it off. So, Trey, you ready?
I am ready.
All right, your minute starts now.
Cleveland Browns beat Joe Burrow and the Bengals on Thursday night 35-30. And my takeaway is the Browns might have the best running back duo in the NFL with Chubb and Hunt. With Chubb had 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hunt had 86 yards and a touchdown. And I think that's just going to be a force. That's all the help that Baker needs. And he really needs to perform with the wide receivers and tight ends they have. And then my Bears take is that they signed Tariq Cohen to a 3-year, $17 million deal. And I'm thinking A-Rob needs to be next. And the Rams found a way with Woods and Kupp with their whole cap situation that we talked about last week. So there's a way that the Bears should be able to extend him, and I think they will. And I think he'll retire a Bear. And then lastly, Josh Allen is just an absolute stud. That's all that really needs to be said.
All right, Sam, are you ready?
All right. I mean, while we're recording this, it's still third quarter. But from the looks of it, Tyrod Taylor goes down early week 2 against the Chiefs. Justin Herbert comes in, and he has just been lights out. There have been a few throws first and second quarter that were really, really close. And if he made those throws, I'm telling you, this kid, like I said a few episodes ago, I really, really think Justin Herbert is going to end up being the starter. Like, I get it. Oh, yeah, Tyrod Taylor. He's not that good. He's overrated. Not that good. Justin Herbert's better. I think he's going to be one of those guys that was solid in college. Like, solid, not elite in college, but he's going to be like one of those quarterbacks that's elite in the NFL. Just like, I think he's going to be like a Patrick Mahomes type. Like what happened, like kind of like what happened to him. Wasn't elite in college, but
all right,
he's going to turn out to be a good player in the NFL.
This has been a really interesting week for the bird teams of the NFL. The Arizona Cardinals just ended the third quarter against the Washington football team. They looked great last week against the 49ers as well. The Eagles, they should be concerned. Losing to the Washington football team week 1 wasn't great, especially given the lead that they had. And then the Rams won 37-19 against them. Carson Wentz, the O-line, none of it is really good, especially the offensive line. And then the Atlanta Falcons did what they're probably most famous for. They blew another huge lead, this time to the Dallas Cowboys. Offensively, they have the firepower to be in a shootout, but their defense really needs to step up if they want to win any of those shootouts. And it was a miracle for Dallas. So that has been 3-minute takeaways for week 2 of the 2020 NFL season. But the other big storyline that we need more time to talk about than just 3 minutes, there have been so many injuries this week.
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, and Bosa from the Niners.
Crazy. Let's talk about the Niners first, because they've probably been the team that's been affected the most by this.
Yes.
I mean, already before this week's game, Kittle was out. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk were dealing with injuries. Sherman was on IR. And now you've got...
It just shows how bad the Jets are. Like,
What do you mean?
Like you're just shows how bad the Jets are. They're terrible. They lost to the 49ers, who have half their team out, and they absolutely got blown up by them too.
Because Jimmy G was hurt too.
So Nick Bosa and Saquon Barkley both appeared to have torn their ACLs.
So
Trey, the Bears played.
I tore my ACL.
Trey, the Bears played the Giants.
Yeah,
Didn't
they
look
did.
good.
No,
look good.
it did not. It was just a freak play. I mean, it wasn't anyone's fault. It was just unlucky. I feel bad for him.
I mean, the play beforehand, it looked like he
Yeah, he did a little bit. It didn't look
was
good.
shook
It was
enough.
two. It was like two straight plays, kind of.
just not good. Like,
He's an elite running back.
he is. And I'm somewhat not surprised by a lot of these injuries because with no preseason, no joint practices, the adjustment to game speed is different.
Good point.
But at the same time, it's horrible to see.
It's a lot of stars.
It is. And the week isn't over yet. We're recording this before Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. So hopefully nothing happens there. I don't want anything to happen. But it's been a week for injuries. It's not good. Speaking of elite running backs,
No, we're not talking about any elite running back. There is no elite running back to talk about.
Yeah, there
we're
is.
talking about probably your spiciest hot take.
Yeah, you got a pretty big one here, Sam.
Easily the spiciest hot take you have.
He's not elite.
Who isn't elite?
Ezekiel Elliott doesn't. Sorry. Elite running backs don't fumble twice in one quarter.
I'm
Is
not
he
going
not
to judge
allowed-
him off of one game.
Is he not allowed to have a bad game?
Can't fumble twice.
Because last time I checked, Nick Chubb had a very bad week one
Good.
against an amazing Baltimore Ravens team.
Yeah,
And this week he was amazing.
And
Zeke
Zeke didn't even
wasn't
have a
amazing this week
terrible
or
game,
last week.
too. Like, Zeke
wasn't
actually
good this
finished
week
good.
or last week.
He still had like 80 yards, a touchdown. Like, he recovered.
80 yards. Wow. That's real good.
I mean, he had
Aaron
two
Jones-
seasons.
Aaron Jones had more receiving yards than him this week. That's sad.
Aaron Jones is not better than Zeke.
Yes, he is.
What makes Aaron Jones better than Zeke?
He actually catch passes.
Derrick Henry isn't a pass-catching running back. Does that
Because Zeke is – oh, Derrick, you can't compare Derrick Henry to Zeke or Aaron Jones. Zeke is an elite.
what makes him not elite?
He only has an offensive line. He's like DeMarco Murray.
DeMarco Murray was very good for a few years.
Not after he wasn't elite.
For those few seasons in Dallas,
Herbert just threw a pick. I guess he
He
had an
was in
offensive
Dallas,
line.
he was the lead.
DeMarco Murray,
Yeah,
I'm
because he
looking
had
up
an
his
offensive
stats right now.
line. Because he had an offensive line.
He had 1,800 yards in 2014. He had 2,200 all-purpose yards.
Because he had an offensive line.
So it's not possible for Zeke to be elite. Like, he can't do anything.
Look at Saquon Barkley. Look at Saquon Barkley. Doesn't have an offensive line. He had 8 yards last week.
But does that make Saquon not elite?
No.
Because Saquon hasn't had a good offensive line for his entire career, basically,
He ripped it up last year.
for the past 2 years.
Exactly. He's ripped it up the past 2 years with no offensive line. That's a good running back. So is Christian McCaffrey.
No, we're not saying Zeke's better. We're just saying
We're not
Zeke's
saying
in
they're
the
better.
tier.
We're not ranking them. We're saying that Zeke is an elite running back.
No, he's not.
Because he had 1,600 yards and 1,400 yards a different year.
I'm looking up the stats right now for Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, you might as well just give it to the whole offensive line. Just give it to the whole Cowboys offensive line because that's basically who gave it to him.
So if Zeke ran 3,000 yards in one season, would he be elite?
Yes.
Because keep in mind, the O-line, not only do they set up plays, but once you get past the offensive line, once you break away, that's not on the offensive line for the most part.
Mostly the running back.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that Ezekiel. I would assume that Zeke would at least break free at least once after how many times they give him the damn ball.
Almost 2,000 scrimmage yards as a rookie, 1994.
Yeah.
1,200 in 2017 when he only played 10 games because of the suspension.
Only 10 games.
Offensive line.
2,000 all-purpose yards in 2018. 1,700 in 2019. And keep in mind, Travis Frederick, their center, who one of the best centers in the league at the time.
He's overrated.
Travis Frederick is not overrated.
Zeke is overrated.
Was not overrated.
Zeke is overrated.
So I think we know where Sam stands on that. I don't think either of us agree with him, but if you want to leave your opinions in the comment section below. Now on to another segment we have. Pick a player. We've been doing this for a while, looking at two players solely based on only their statistics. Trey, you're going to be hosting this week. You've got two players.
I do. I'll send it in the chat. It's two relief pitchers on the same team.
Same team this time.
Yes.
Interesting. Trey, can you read off the stats for the listeners?
All right. Player A has 15 15. Wait, let me restart that. Player A has 15 and 2/3 innings, a 4.6 ERA, a 1.085 WHIP, and 26 strikeouts. While player B has 23 innings, a .39 ERA, a .609 WHIP, and 47 strikeouts. I think this is pretty obvious.
It's obviously a reliever or closer.
It's a closer and a setup man on the same team.
Are they on the Cubs?
Nope. Well, obviously we're taking player B, right?
I think I'm taking player B, the strikeouts.
Are they on the Rays? Are they on the Rays?
Nope.
Well, I'm taking player B because of the strikeouts.
Nope.
Like, that's a huge difference.
What team are they on?
And the ERA.
The ERA, yeah.
What team?
Mm-hmm.
Your favorite team, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Oh, boy.
Is one of them Hader?
Player A is Josh Hader.
I told you I was gonna get it.
I mean, I told you the team.
Well, I
It's
still
pretty
got
easy.
it.
And Sam, can you guess player B?
Is it like that? Didn't he closed last night?
I don't know. I didn't watch the Brewers. I'm not a Brewers fan.
I don't know. I saw like a video of him. Mahomes just threw a pick, by the way. Hang on. I saw it.
This guy's nasty, and not a lot of people know who he is.
Is it? Oh God. I don't remember his name. Is it Ras? It's like Ras.
No, I know who you're talking about. It's not him.
I don't know who player B is then.
Player B is Devin Williams. He's a younger guy. He's one of the better rookies in baseball, and he needs some respect.
Yeah, he does.
I mean,
That's
putting up those
nasty.
numbers.
Disgusting changeup. That's what he uses. But yeah, I just wanted to promote him because he's balling out this year.
Yeah, that's part of this series. You got to give some of the underrated players some respect. And obviously, stats aren't everything. You need to look at film as well. But combine the two, and you can get a pretty good idea of
people
how good
have
a
to
player
respect.
is.
People have to put respect on Nate Stanley's name. He's underrated.
That's random, but okay.
He's about to be the greatest quarterback the Vikings have ever seen.
Sam, we're going to end
Kirk's
off.
gone.
Sam, we're going to end this episode off with something I know you're insanely excited about.
Yep.
Tell everyone what that is.
The Chicago White Sox are going to the playoffs. The first time in 12 years. I want them all. I want the Yankees. I want them.
You want the
Bring on the
Bronx
Yankees.
Bombers?
Oh, yeah. Bring on
Did
the
you see
Yankees.
the guy who broke
Bring
into
him on.
Fenway?
Yes,
No, I
that was
didn't.
so funny. That was
What'd he
so
do?
funny. So, do you know like the media deck, like
The
little
camera deck.
like
It was
the camera deck in Fenway, like on the Green Monster.
On the Green Monster.
Yes.
Some dude like climbed up
He
the
somehow
Green
got up
Monster.
there.
He climbed up the Green Monster and got into like that camera deck and just started yelling things and throwing his hats on the field.
I don't know how he got up there. I don't know why he did that.
It was
He's
pretty
arrested now.
funny. Well, yeah, duh.
Yeah,
it
he
was
got-
pretty funny.
He got escorted off the premises by security.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Not worth going to jail for it, but I mean, it is funny.
Sam, what are your expectations for the White Sox for the rest of the regular season and going into the postseason? Where do you think you're going to end up in the playoffs? Cleveland?
I think we're going to be top. I mean, I think we're going to win the AL Central. I don't
And
know.
the Twins have also clinched.
I don't think the Yankees, I don't think are going to beat the Rays. The Rays, I think, are going to stay at number one.
No, the Rays
And
will do number one. I
Out
think.
of all, how would you rank the teams at the top of their divisions right now? The Rays?
Rays, Sox, Athletics.
Those are the top. Those are the division winners.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And
it's
Trey,
not
let's
going
do
to
that.
flip.
Let's do that for the NL as well, Trey.
I mean, the Cubs are pretty close to locked in. The Braves are pretty close as well, and then Dodgers and Padres. But the Dodgers will probably win it. Playoffs is different.
Trey's a
So-
Dodgers fan?
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, you like them.
That's cap. I like the Padres.
I like the Padres.
They're a fun team.
They can upset the Dodgers. I could see it in the playoffs, not in the division.
That'd be interesting to see.
Trey doesn't like the Padres. Trey thinks they're bad.
Sam's sleeping on Manny Machado.
Tatis.
Not worth $300 million. Tatis is in a slump right now.
Yeah, he is. Machado's had a better year. People don't know that.
Yeah, I see why people are calling the Padres a sleeper team.
Yeah, they're built for October. Just with their
And
rotation and their lineup and hot hitters, good bullpen. That's what you need.
Trey, who's our ace?
Clevinger.
Really? After three starts?
Clevinger's one of the best pitchers in baseball over the last few years.
That's fair.
Then Chris Paddock.
I don't know.
It's
I
probably
didn't
there, too.
realize. I think in a 3-game series against the White Sox, I think that they would only win one, and that's the game with Bieber.
It's a tough – it would be a tough matchup for both teams, I would say.
Because we would pitch Giolito, Keuchel, and I don't know who would go 3. Probably Cease.
And then they would throw Bieber, Carrasco, and Plesac. That would be an
Yeah.
interesting game 3. 2 young pitchers that are going
Yeah.
off this year.
Yeah, a 3-game series against Cleveland would
Not
be
a
very
lot of
interesting.
like.
Yeah, it
There
would.
have been a couple games. I'll say this: there have been a couple games where Cease has gotten knocked around a little bit. But what's his ERA? I think it's like 3.20.
Which is good.
3.20 ERA. I think he's 5-2. Well, I think he's 5-3 now. But I just don't want to play the Twins. I'm good. I hate the Twins.
You won't
What is
play
it
him in
about
the
the
first
Twins?
round.
I hate the Twins. I hate them so much.
You just hate them, or
Like,
No,
they're
they
good.
they overhype their team.
You're winning the division, so you would
they're
have been
winning
in
the division right
regardless.
now? I think
Exactly.
The one thing you always have to keep in mind with this season, it's a shortened season.
Exactly.
That's going to impact
a joke anyways.
players in both.
A joke.
That's going to impact players in both good ways, if they're on a hot streak, and bad ways if you're in a slump.
Exactly.
That's not good.
Like, I know at least with the Cubs, like, some of their guys would not be putting up these numbers.
Oh, it's been brutal. A lot of their stars, it's been brutal.
In a regular season, this wouldn't be happening. I think in a regular season, it would still be between Minnesota and the White Sox.
Yeah, it would be
at
close.
the top of that division. I think it would still be close if it was like a full regular season.
This isn't good. Anderson, TA7's down. He's out with a hamstring injury right now.
Yeah, I saw he got pulled.
Yeah,
do they think it's serious?
It's just hamstring cramps.
It might. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's a shortened season. That might ruin his MVP chances.
Well, I think that's going to ruin his. I think that's going to ruin his bet. Well,
it depends how LeMahieu does. It's just all in LeMahieu's hands now.
Exactly. So, I mean, his batting average isn't going to go down, right?
No. It'll just stay where it's at.
I think that's going to ruin his MVP chance. But
I think Abreu was going to win it anyways, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I would love to see Trout win it again. I wouldn't have a problem with Trout winning it. I love Mike Trout. Mike Trout is just all around a great guy. He's a great player. He deserves it every year.
He does. He's the GOAT.
Exactly. Mike Trout's the greatest player that I've ever seen.
And probably will.
All right. So we did 3-minute takeaways for week 2 of the 2020 NFL season. Talked about some of the injuries that we've seen so far. Briefly mentioned one of Sam's hot takes. Played pick a player. Talked about the MLB playoff situation. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to subscribe, like, comment. Check out our other episodes. Follow us on social media. Remember, the Three Sportsmen is a weekly podcast, so be sure to tune in next week. And remember, trust the podcast.